Welcome back. It's a Wednesday. It's time for our weekly feature, Going Green. And sewage continues to pour into the Vaal River system unabated. The river made headlines last year when residents protested due to the health hazard. Fish have been poisoned in the river that supplies water to several communities, including Veereniging and Sharpville. Well, despite judgments against the Emfuleni Local Municipality, the army being called in, the East Rand Water Care Company moving in as well, it seems the problem is yet to be fixed. To discuss, we're joined by Maureen Stewart, who is the Vice Chair of the Save the Vaal Environment. Maureen, thank you for being with us tonight. We're going to bring up some pictures which were taken by an SABC colleague over the weekend. She saw these lakes of sewage within this municipality pouring into the Vaal. For people who haven't seen it, can you start by describing the situation for us?
Good evening, Francis. Lovely to be with you. The situation down at the Vaal in the Emfuleni Local Municipality is an absolute disaster. There is sewage pouring from the water waste system, from the networks which are constantly blocked, the pump station system, which is an integral part of the wastewater treatment care system. Has broken down completely, and as a result, a lot of the sewage from all over the Emfuleni municipality area doesn't even reach the wastewater treatment plants. So we have raw sewage flowing in the streets of Veereniging and Sharpville, and also Sewerage, Everton as well, all areas of Emfuleni. And the situation is a disaster, and it is getting worse.
This is just incredible given the time that has passed. Maureen, we had the Human Rights Commission visiting the area last year, the army moving in December, calls for prosecutions, the establishment of a war room by government. Given those interventions, have you noticed any improvement at all?
Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. And it all revolves around money. And we have been promised money, to have everything fixed, but no money has been coming through at all.
So let's start with that, because there was actually an allocation of water and sanitation saying 341 million rand was allocated. So you're saying not a cent of that has been seen?
Nothing has come through. As far as we are aware, and we were advised of this in April of this year, our National Treasury has made an allocation of 1.1 billion over a period of 3 years to fix the system, and that's just to fix the system. Never mind what about the future, what about future maintenance, and what about further infrastructure development? We don't know about that. This year there's apparently an allocation of 340 million according to Treasury, but if you ask the Water and Sanitation Department, they'll tell you it's only 240 million. Where this money is that was allocated at the beginning of the government's financial year in April, it hasn't come through.
And the 240 or so, is the department telling you when that'll be put to use?
No. We've had all sorts of contracts signed and agreements between Emfuleni and the National Defence Force, as well as the Department of Water and Sanitation and the, I think it's called the Airvat, it's the Ekurhuleni water arm, who was supposed to be doing the repairs. But there's just no action. There's lots of talk, but no action. Yeah. No action on the ground.
Do you get a sense that the Minister, Lindiwe Sisulu, is aware of the gravity of the situation?
I'm sure she is aware, but to my knowledge, I don't think she herself has actually visited the Vaal yet. We certainly hope that she will find time in her schedule to actually see the disastrous situation for herself one of these days. But her department are well aware of it. Save the Vaal has been in communication when this all started 10 years ago, and then it reached crisis proportions in 2018, at the beginning of 2018. And I'm sorry to say, it's just got worse and worse, in spite of court orders, a lot of media coverage. Nothing works.
And where's the army? They were self-funding. Engineers were put on the ground, we understand.
Yes, they were, and the engineering corps did quite a lot of work. There's one wastewater treatment plant that is completely dysfunctional, and they did a lot of clean-up work there for a couple of months. But again, they stopped because there was no money coming through, and they needed to have specialised equipment to carry on with their work, and they couldn't do it. They're still in the Vaal, but they're also just totally not able to do anything because of lack of funding.
There are judgments against the Emfuleni municipality, but one of the big problems is it's broke. I understand that you are setting your sights on provincial and national governments trying to force their hand. What are you doing? What can you do?
First of all, just to go back to 2018, we obtained a very, very strong court order, which they call a structural interdict, which entitles us to go back to the court. This was against the Emfuleni Local Municipality and the municipal manager. Now, that interdict requires them, in broad terms, to stop pollution of the river and to also communicate with Save and have a proper plan in place with appropriate budgets and timelines and to resolve the situation. As you said, Francis, the municipality is broke, so it was pointless pursuing them, being non-compliant with the court order. So in May this year, we approached the courts again with the intention of, and in fact we did get a court order, to join the Department of Water and Sanitation and also the National Department of Environmental Affairs to that court order, which makes them part of the court order, as well as the Gauteng Premier and the Gauteng Department of the Copter Department and the Finance MEC in the Gauteng. Now, we do have that court order, but it's a process. And the government departments now have to come back with court papers in answer to that affidavit. And that is where we're at the moment. We are waiting for those papers to come through.
Okay,
and
so
then we'll be back in court.
Sure. So while that court process is underway, the Human Rights Commission was looking at this. Are you hopeful about that process, that parallel process?
We are. We're very hopeful. I think the Human Rights Commission did a very thorough investigation. In fact, their inquiry, which started in September last year, extended through to January, February this year. And we are very much looking forward to that report.
Finally, Maureen, this isn't holiday homes along the Vaal affected only. This is a big water system. Just tell us what you understand about the science right now, about the impact on life in the river and the communities surrounding and the possible impact on the broader water system.
It's a disaster, Francis. That's the only way one can term it. Of course, the holiday homes along the banks of the river are affected, but it's far more than that. It's impacting on what was a flourishing tourism industry in the Vaal. It's impacting on economic development of the Vaal. People in Sewerage and in Everton and also in the leafy suburbs of Veereniging and Sharpville Park live surrounded by raw sewage in the roads, in their gardens and coming into their houses. It's a health risk. It's a risk to agriculture. You've got to remember that the Vaal River is what I think it's about the third longest river in South Africa, and it's a very important river system to irrigate our crops. Now, this water is so contaminated, it's frightening.
Do you see raw sewage in your garden? What's your personal impact?
Yes. We see it. Where we've got a holiday home on the Vaal. It's absolutely shocking. At times the smell is unbearable, And this happens not only, as I say, to the holiday homes, but to the people in Sewage, the people in Veereniging and in Vaal Park. The water is I mean, it's just filled with sewage. It's the only way to describe it. And in fact, not that one needs proof of it because you can smell it, but water quality reports, which are done by Rand Water and updated weekly, show horrendous results. That the E. coli counts, which is indicative of sewage, run into the hundreds of thousands every week. That's per 100 ml of water. Whereas, it's absolutely unacceptable. It's non-compliant with the Department of Water and Sanitation's Water Act. And it's just been going on and on. This is the problem.
All right, so the cleanup has stalled. Save the Vaal saying the situation is worse than ever. Thank you very much for your time. That was the Save the Vaal's Vice Chairperson, Maureen Stewart.